everybody, welcome back to another one of my videos. This time I'm going to review the premium tier 7 destroyer, the Sims. So let's get right into it here. This ship is all about the guns. It's a destroyer, but it's a destroyer where the torps are not the main attraction. The guns here are, of which you have 427mm guns, that's 5 inches. The guns are fast loading, 4-second stock, but you can get it down with equipment to 3.6 seconds, and then with the consumables it's 3.5 seconds. So very quick reload on the guns, and that's very important because you're going to need them. Why you're going to need them? Because, well, for one thing, they have a 3% fire chance, which isn't much, but because of the rate of fire, you can actually usually set fire to somebody within 25 seconds or so, or every 25 seconds in game, you're starting up a fire because of the rate of fire in these guns, and that's really one of the key parts of this ship. Now, the reason why I'm emphasizing the guns is because the torpedoes are lackluster at best. They are not very good torpedoes. They're located right here in the middle of the ship, similar to a Farragut. The Benson as well has the same configuration, as does the Fletcher. So she's got 8 torps, which is good, very good. The reload time is 50 seconds, which is once you got all the if you put all the accoutrements on, it's 50-second reload, which is so approximately 50 seconds. Also not bad. That's pretty good. 50 seconds is a decent reload. But here's where things take a turn for the worse. The speed of these torps is only 51 knots. That's very slow. So forget about distance shooting. I've had battleships, US battleships, dodge the torps from this ship. So long-range engagements is not very good. And when you do manage to contact with these torps, 3,200 damage is a maximum you can expect, and on average 2,800 is usually what you wind up with. Very, for a tier 7, this is not what you would expect. But in the aspect of balance, I guess, that's what this is all about. 51 knots, 3.2k damage. The torps are a secondary. Forget about your torps as a primary on this ship. If you want to succeed, in my opinion, you need to concentrate on the guns. I did some reading just to see if what I was thinking meshed with what happens on PC with this ship, and yeah, pretty much. The way I'm thinking is the same as other reviewers for the PC version of the ship have gone, emphasizing the gun aspects of this ship. So guns. Torps maybe if you get a chance, but guns. All guns. Moving on to the camo, the ship does come with historical camouflage, which gives you extra range on the guns, torpedoes, as well as traverse speed and concealment and experience bonuses. One of the key things about the ship is she comes with Smoke Generator 2, which is a long for World of Warships Blitz smoke screen, which you can hide in and use to good effect to shoot everybody, which is really critical as well. You can see the other stats here. You can look these up from the purchasing screen if you're considering buying it. She's fast. She's a very fast destroyer, the fastest US destroyer in the game. You can equip her to go about 40 knots if you get the proper equipment, the speed boost equipment. You can knock down the reload as well to a considerable degree. The torp reload, the first way I configured her was for torps. That was a mistake. I reconfigured the ship for the gunplay after I realized how poor the torps were going to behave. So for equipment, I've got the reload boost, which knocks it down to 3.6 seconds. The acceleration, so when you're accelerating away from torpedoes, when you're in a smoke screen, it's important. And of course, the traverse to be able to move around a little bit better. I've got concealment for supplies, and of course the usual speed and reload increases on everything. For bonus here, I had originally the Elite Torpedo Operator, and I had to go buy 500 gold to move it over to Elite Gun Operator, and I do not regret having done that. So if you are choosing something, in my opinion, it should be the Gun Operator. Get the boost to reload as well as gun traverse, of which this ship has amazing gun traverse to begin with. So when you add that, you're on cloud 9 for that aspect of the ship. Moving on to our first battle, one of the things that you should be doing in destroyers to begin with is capturing cap circles, especially in a 6-minute battle game. Points are critical, so that's not different at all in The Sims. You want to capture points as much as possible. That being said, with The Sims, because of her torpedoes, she's got a lot of trouble using them on enemy destroyers, so you're going to have to use your guns, and if you're in too close, you're going to be very vulnerable to torpedoes, so you want to stay at kind of mid-range. So if you're going for a cap and all of a sudden you see the cap being captured by the red team, proceed with caution. If you're with some other players, if you're teamed up, you've got a little bit of leeway, you can take a little bit more chances, but if you're playing solo, I don't recommend taking chances in this ship. If you see the cap being taken, proceed with caution. Be aware that if you get in too close, you're going to be cut to pieces by torpedoes, so keep things at a medium distance. And high explosive rounds on the ship are very good, and they'll work well with against destroyers, cruisers, and battleships in terms of fire starting. So just like you saw there, I avoided going into the actual cap circle. I stayed where I could use that island for cover. With this ship, thinking like that is very, very necessary. She's a bit more demanding with respect to that, thinking ahead, kind of like playing a battleship. You got to think a few steps ahead if you want to succeed really well. You can see here her guns are just fantastic. I didn't switch to AP. Probably could have switched to AP here, but at the same time, still getting used to the ship and the fire frequency. And of course, sometimes the RNG just doesn't work in your favor. But I've had battles where I've started 6 or 7 fires, others where I've started 1 or 2. So against DDs, AP can still bounce occasionally and get a 0 damage roll. Not often. Against cruisers, happens quite often. So I usually just switch to high explosive the moment I'm against a cruiser, unless you're broadside to a cruiser, in which case AP can work very effectively. And I've citadeled quite a few cruisers doing that. So that's definitely something to keep in mind, which is the name of the game with this ship, keeping things in mind. And probably the way I would describe this ship is she is good to the observant, thoughtful captain who chooses to drive her, or rather sail her around. You're going to have to be thinking ahead of where you're going. You're going to have to be able to do what I'm doing right here, which is steer your ship in a mental map of the area around you, and pay attention to the alert horns if you're going to run into something. You've got to keep your guns on target and firing as much as possible if you want to get any damage done in this game with this ship. Again, you can get really lucky with the torpedoes and fire them off. You can use islands to conceal the torpedoes inbound, so that way your opponent will sail into them. And against many opponents, you can pull that off. And while this is something very common to do in the game right now, the moment people get more experience and there's more people who know what they're doing in the game, that's going to become a little bit more of a rarity, I'm afraid. We can't bank on human players not being observant or conscientious of things like that forever. Eventually the player base will get better. It's a brand new game. When this ship is at the first time it's been released, which is what I'm talking about right now, at 1.0. So you can't count on this ship remaining as good as it is right now with respect to opposing players being easy to pick off with these extremely slow torpedoes. I've had situations like this one right here where even I've forgotten I've lined up the cone and fired torpedoes, and oh, they're so slow, miss. So you got to give a lot of lead, like I just did there, to compensate in order to make these torpedoes effective close in. And you can imagine that the further out an enemy ship is, the worse it gets. The more you have to lead, the more you have to turn, or rather hope that they don't make a turn and put themselves out of the danger from your torpedoes. So ambush attacks with torpedoes, lucky chances where you just happen to turn around a corner and there's a ship there. That's what these torpedoes are for. They can produce the most damage for you, but don't go out of your way. Don't put yourself in danger to use torpedoes. I did that at first when I was playing this ship, and did I ever pay for it? I went 6 wins out of 20 battles. It was a disaster. I could not get over how badly I was doing in this ship. Normally I'm pretty solid in destroyers, so it really surprised me how poorly I did. So if you try to make this round peg fit the square hole of what normally constitutes the way to play a destroyer, you will fail. This ship is not going to reward players who can't adapt to different play styles, so be aware of that. If you decide to buy this ship, she's a very expensive ship. In Canadian dollars, just under $50 Canadian. In the States, I think she's a little bit cheaper, as all things are usually in the States. I don't know about internationally, but those are the prices I've heard about from my clanmates and that over in Seaspud. So moving on here, in this battle, it's a little bit more of a ranging type battle. We didn't really have caps to rush to, which is going to work in favor. You can use the islands, you can stalk your prey a little bit better, and really, here I noticed that we might have an issue with one of our players. I didn't see him moving until just the last moment there, but I was afraid that I would wind up with another AFK on team, which is happening quite often as people's mobile devices are cutting out. But anyway, we're getting off topic here. I was asked earlier today as well about the earning potential of the ship. Again, I don't want to talk about earning potential on ships in these reviews. Unfortunately, I do feel the economy is still broken. Until that gets fixed, I don't really want to talk bad about a ship or talk good about a ship with respect to credits, because although these premiums earn a little bit better than their tech tree counterparts, it's really not that much, and none of the premium ships currently released are as good as the tech tree tier 8s and 9s and that for earning credits. So as far as credit earning goes, a good game will result in a good amount of credits, about the same as a Molotov or a DeGrasse. So nothing really special, nothing really bad. Medium, although you could make the argument that because this ship is a fragile ship, because she's more about the gunplay than torpedoes, she's going to wind up taking a little bit more damage due to the nature of the type of play style, and because of that, your repair costs per battle will be a little bit higher, and your consumables, your repair kits, for instance, will be used for sure a little bit more often. And because of that, even though she can earn pretty well like a Molotov, I think so far with all my battles, with the exception of a couple, the overall net is less than the tier 6 cruisers that are in the game right now for premium. So keep that in mind. Don't buy this ship for credits at this point. That doesn't mean that in the future she won't be fantastic for credits. Just right now, don't use that as one of your raison d'etre to pick up the ship, because that won't go so well. You'll be disappointed at her credit generation. But as a fun ship with unique playstyle, which is what I was hoping for before I purchased the ship, something a little bit different than the regular U.S. destroyers. I didn't know she would be this different, And if I wasn't reviewing ships, I probably would not have bought her until I heard some reviews, because if I had known that she would be this unique in terms of having to use the guns, I would probably think different, because really, if I was buying this ship or a DeGrasse, the DeGrasse would get my nod as the better premium ship, as would a Molotov in terms of ease of use, in terms of winning solo. This ship can certainly win. I've been winning since I figured out that she's that really can't force the torpedoes here, even though the torpedoes are 8, and the ship resembles the U.S. destroyer line. It's not the primary. Once I got that in my head that the torpedoes are a secondary weapon, my damage and my win rate went up in the ship right away. So I know there's probably other people playing this ship more traditionally, and they're doing well in. I've seen them do it. Mind you, the people I've seen do best are the ones that are partnered up and playing on a team. So the team is in some cases carrying, because I've taken out a lot of sims that are part of teams, and then the team goes on to win because of the teammates running in other ships, quite frankly, and other carry type ships like the North Carolina and things like that. So if you're going to platoon, or rather team up with the other people in this ship, she's loads of fun. It's really fun to harass with this ship. One reviewer that I had read tried to stay always near the capital ships, the destroyers, the battleships, and let them draw the fire while you pummel away with your guns. That's great, and in World of Warships PC it probably worked quite well. And I tried a couple games where I was hanging close to our battleships, but the problem is that the red team gets too close, and it just gets to be too much. And with the small teams and the short time frame, that play style just doesn't seem to work. At least I can't make it work. Maybe somebody else can make it work. I wasn't making it work very well. I had to keep twisting and turning and weaving in and out in the battles that I tried that, and I wound up losing on points. The rest of the team that had drifted away got wiped out, and although I was still at the end fighting healthy and giving damage to the red team, we were so far gone in points by then that there was just no hope of recovery. So now, mind you, this is a small battle sample that I only got the ship yesterday. People were really anxious for a review, so I decided to put this together. I'm on, I think, 30 battles now, around that, something like that, and my last 7 have been wins in a row. So definitely, I think I've figured out how to play this ship since I've made my adjustments. So hopefully you'll take to heart what I've said. The people who should be buying this ship, in my opinion, are those that do well in other destroyers, who are looking for something a little bit different. Collectors, of course, should be buying this ship. People who are buying their first premium should not be buying this ship. You will be wasting your money, at least for a while, until you get good. It's no reflection upon your skills. It's a matter of experience. If you don't have the experience, you will not do well in this ship. It's just a matter of being able to adapt. And even then, some people just will not adapt well to different play styles with the same looking ship to other ships. Like, hey, it looks like a U.S. destroyer, I'm going to play it like that. No matter what they do, they're going to keep trying to play it like that. They're going to feel a little bit ripped off. You're going to hear a lot of people say this ship sucks, just like on PC, I suppose, which I've never played on PC. But I do know that people say that this ship is not very good on PC. For Blitz, she is good if you know how to coax her into a good game. I'm just starting to ramble here and talk in circles, so I'm going to leave you with the remainder of this battle here. Enjoy it. This battle went really well. It's a cracking game for me, so Do enjoy, and I'll probably retouch on this ship as if I find that the experience is much different at 50 and 60 battles in. I will redo this review. I won't hesitate to do so, but for right now I'm going to stick by the fact that she's a gunship. Use your guns, use your guns, use your guns. Torpedoes, use them to push enemies away from caps, from your teammates, from your valued assets like carriers, that sort of thing. So your torps are best used as an area denial weapon, and but your guns are what's going to carry the day. So don't expect tons of damage every battle. I'm convinced that while the ship can carry, the ship can win. She can do so by finishing off low health opponents, as well as sneak attacks with torpedoes, which is not going to happen all the time. But certainly, if you push those guns, if you keep guns on target, keep them firing as much as you can in a battle, you will do the damage, you will get the wins. But please, when you're considering buying the ship, keep these things that I've said in mind. I really don't want people out there to buy the ship and regret it. I want everybody to like this game as much as I like it, and to know what the ships are like before they buy them. As much as I can do so, I will try to keep doing these videos to inform people so they can make wise decisions. Anyway, again, it's late at night when I'm doing this. I've worked all day. I'm rambling. I'm going to I put this review in haste together in order to help people make their decisions as quickly as possible. So hopefully this has been helpful. I'm going to leave you now with the rest of this battle, and take care. Cheers.
Destroyed. We hit the enemy. Enemy heavily damaged. Nice shot. An enemy ship. Target hit. Destroyed an enemy ship. Our team is about to win.